Incoming!
Blood Bowl can be a painful and brutal game, and Week 1 of the 2020 season was no exception. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Our first game of the week brought us Jim's Chaos team, the Spicy Meatballs, versus James's Lizardman team, Radomsko. By turn 8, we had already seen plenty of armor breaks on both sides, with Sirads the Saurus and Skink the Skink suffering knockouts, and Levis the Skink getting badly hurt. The Spicy Meatballs were looking quite a bit worse for wear, though, with knockouts on Shymane the Beastman and the Chaos Warriors Drathgrim Shayesh and Ricket the Ugly, and a badly hurt on Nartigors the Beastman. Not only that, but we have our first death of the season on Sangpaw the Beastman. Rest in peace, buddy. It hadn't all been for nothing, though, as Jim's Chaos Warrior, Starclap Vilemucus, still had the ball on the last turn of the half, and was mere feet away from the goal line. All he needed to do was get past 2 Skinks and a Saurus. Let's see how that went. Ooh. Guess that's Knuckles' revenge on Jim for not naming his players. You hope that after pain comes success, but in Blood Bowl, sometimes pain just means more pain. It wasn't all sunshine and lollipops for Radomsko, though, as we moved to the second half at turn 15. James, in a staggeringly powerful position, has the ball at the goal line and 3 Skinks lined up and ready to make their play. A second touchdown and 3 SPP are all but secured at this point. But why settle for 3 SPP when you can go for 4? In a classic Blood Bowl blunder that we've all made at some point, James decides to make a pass with 2 turns left in the match, and... oops. Well, still got 1 reroll left, and... there it goes, the ball slipping right out of those tiny Skink hands. Skipping ahead to turn 16, things are still looking okay, but then Nitro the Skink goes to pick up that ball, and... ooh! No rerolls left means that ball is staying right there on the ground. That's what I like to call the pass of hubris, and that means that instead of 4 extra SPP, James is taking home 0. You won't be making that mistake again. Moving on to our next clip, here we are at turn 10 of the match between Jonathan Skaven team, Death Toll, and my Kislev team, the Bolshevik Coup. With the Bolshevik Coup already down a point, we can see that the gutter runner Dire Time has the ball and is well within scoring distance of another touchdown. With no Kislev players within range to take him out, it's looking pretty dire, but that's no reason to give up. Ivan the Tame Bear makes a move against Skaven lineman Unity from Zero to Profit and pushes him back, freeing up just a little bit of space. Banjo the Catcher pops up with a blitz action, uses his very long legs to make a successful leap over Black Forest the Storm Vermin, and then makes a double red die attack on Dire Time, with both landing a knockdown. With nowhere else to go, Dire Time is forced to take a crowd surf and... pow! A second death for the season! Thankfully for Death Toll, the Apothecary rerolls that death into just broken ribs, meaning he'll just be missing his next game. With the ball now out of bounds, there's no telling where it'll land next. A quick toss from the ref and... oh! Kuma the Blitzer almost recovers it! But even with a reroll, he just can't get a grip. With another gutter runner just a few feet away, you can guess how this game ended up with 2 touchdowns for Death Toll. Moving on, let's take a look at the match between Ivy's High Elf team, Ramalna, and Ryan's Necromantic team, the Sleeping Lion. By the final turn of the match, Ryan had managed to get 2 points on the board, though with a few casualties along the way, including 2 knockouts on the zombies Capitan of the Guard and Jexera, a badly hurt on Priscilla the White, and a death on Lilith the Zombie who, unfortunately, failed to regenerate. Tough luck. Ivy hadn't come out totally unscathed, though, with no touchdowns so far, and Chevraith the Blitzer suffering a permanent -1 to movement. It's the final turn of the match. Can she squeeze out some valuable SPP before it's all over? Branaric the lineman moves up next to Mastavelia the Ghoul, and then Debrigi the lineman blitzes into a tackle. Pow! With the ball free, Gala the lineman runs up to grab it, and... oops! A quick re-roll saves the fumble, but now there can't be any more mistakes. Gala lines up the pass to Flavik the lineman, and it's a safe catch, but he's still gonna have to go for it to get to the goal line. And touchdown! Ivy might not have won the match, but it's gotta feel good to do that well in your first ever game playing against a former Oregon Bowl champion. And for our final clip of the week, let's go over an advanced tactic and take a look at the match between Lydia's Khemri team, Pyramid Scheme 2, and John's Dwarven team, Make You Say Dowie. Looking at the field, we can see that Lydia is in a pretty tough position. It's 1-0 on the last turn of the match, and even though the ball is right in front of Montu the Blitzraw, he just doesn't quite have enough movement to make it all the way to the goal line, even with 2 going for it. With no other players close enough to make a play, all seems hopeless. But shockingly, there is actually a way to make it over the line and tie up this match. To see how, let's go over some basic push rules. When making a push or a knockdown action against an enemy, the attacker will have 3 spaces to move the enemy to, based on the direction it's attacking from. The attacker cannot choose an occupied space if a valid empty one is available. However, if no open spaces are available, the attacker can instead choose an occupied space. Whatever player was in that spot then takes a push action of its own, following the same rules as if the player moving into its space had pushed it. This creates a chain push, and it can be extremely useful in tight situations. Let's go back to the match and analyze the field again. Currently, there's no attack that would allow Lydia to make use of a chain push. However, if Seth the Tomb Guardian had used a blitz action, he could have pushed Grey Grugus the Trollslayer away, and then carefully moved into position next to Wilhelm Pertzy the Longbeard. With all 3 valid spots now occupied, this would have given Osiris the Tomb Guardian the chance to push Gohi Baza the Blitzer directly into Montu, pushing Montu forward into the only valid space available, currently occupied by the ball. This would have caused the ball to scatter randomly, possibly even to the hands of Montu himself. More importantly, it would have moved him just barely close enough to make it to the end zone. And with the ball in hand, a successful dodge, and 2 GFIs, this game could have ended a blistering 1-1. And that's it for the highlights to Week 1 of Season 2020. Come back next week for more highlights from the Oregon Bowl.